Hey man, say man, it's your boy Ink in the Brain, man. We back at Like a Bad Habit. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in. If you like the video, please hit the like button for your boy one time. Alright, so yeah, I got another episode of my prison experience to share with y'all today. If you haven't caught up to my previous episodes, make sure to do so before you watch this one, just so you kind of get a grasp of what's going on. But I'm still in reception, so we're in a big 18-man cell, but at this time, a few people got rolled up out of there, so I think at this time it's probably like around maybe 12 of us, maybe something like that. No, it wasn't that many people. Because what happened was, in Alhambra, right, they wanted some people to stay on that yard. So if you had below 2 years and your points weren't high, they were going to allow you to stay on that yard. And there was like 3 or 4 people in that cell that wanted to stay on that yard. So they ended up moving them out that cell. So I want to say when this happened, it probably was like 7 or 8 of us. I know for a fact it was me, J-Fo, Boogie, Rhino, Shadow, R, yeah, and then Jesse, the Mexican. So yeah, it was 8 of us. So this is what happened, right? Now, in the morning, there's nurses that will come and take your blood pressure and give you medicine, like if you gotta take your meds and all that, right? And there was this one particular nurse that, she looked pretty good, but we never saw her face because, she had a mask on. At this time, everybody wears masks, so you can only see from the top up, her eyes. But you can see her body. Her body was righteous. I mean, she had nice blood on her and everything. So yeah, when she used to walk by, everybody would come up like, "Hey man, Jamaica walk through." And we all get up and peep out the door like some straight perverts. Hey man, prison will do that to you, man. And so, yeah, so Jamaica was a nurse. She was looking good, right? So this particular incident that happened, the nurse, she come give people their medicine, and then and Boogie, I put him in a previous story about how he did like 106 push-ups. And matter of fact, that reminds me on doing time with shooters part 2 when I'm talking about X, he actually did hit 100 push-ups. I said he might have did 96, but I just remember because some people were trying to say he wasn't doing full push-ups. You feel me? But it was like, man, who cares? Like, I don't care if you do push-ups like that, or all the way down like that. I mean, it's better to go all the way down, but if you do, quick push-ups like that, they still don't get you on hub, so it doesn't matter to me. But that's neither here nor there. But so nurse come through, and Boogie, he like her, so he's like, when they open the door, I think she had gave him some medicine or something like that, and then Boogie is he's like talking to her, but he's like, I don't know what he's saying because I wasn't right there. I was up in my cell at the top bunk, just looking down. He said something, but then Shadow's a real playful, joking kind of guy. You feel me? Even though he with the business, he stand on business, but he's a real joker, right? And so he was behind Boogie, doing some weird shit, like behind him to basically so the nurse would see what he was doing. He's just cat and dog, basically. He didn't really mean nothing by it, but yeah, Boogie took offense to that because he looked behind and then he see and then shot he stopped like that. So I guess Boogie he didn't really like that too well. So let me preface what happened next by saying this. There was a lot of tension in the room, and a lot of people were kind of getting annoyed with Boogie because, Boogie is one of them dudes who, number one, he was kind of slow mentally. Not saying he was completely retarded or nothing like that, but he was a little slow. On top of that, he was deaf. I want to say he was 70% deaf. Because he got into some kind of accident on an oil field or something like that, where one of his tools had blown up and it like impaired his hearing because it was really loud. So he's slow mentally. He can't really hear. So every time you tell him something, he's like, huh? And he's like, nah, bro, you don't do it, huh? And you got to repeat things 3 or 4 times. So he's hard to talk to, right? On top of that, he was kind of game goofy about like how prison works and prison politics, right? Because there was some that he said, which I won't really get into. You know, just I don't really feel like I need to discuss that part. But and then he was messy. So he would do things like when they give us the Kool-Aid, like he would leave the Kool-Aid wrappers like on top of the toilet, where like we keep the soaps and stuff in like the washcloths and stuff to wipe down the because every day, you know, we was like wiping down the toilet and cleaning up the area and stuff like that. So he would leave stuff around and pretty much expect us to pick up after him, right? Now again, it wasn't like on some malicious type stuff. He just wasn't really thinking. Like he doesn't really realize that we're in prison. We're all grown men, so you need to clean up after yourself. So he's just leaving little wrappers around and stuff. And people are like, you know, and this is throughout a period of like maybe 10 days. Like there'd be a wrapper laid around, and then somebody would be like, hey man, whose wrapper is this, man? Like, and then nobody would say nothing. Be like, man, look, he's like, I'm gonna throw this away for you, but bro, whoever's doing that, stop doing this shit. Like we all grown men, clean up after yourself. And so that would happen over and over again. And come to find out, somebody knew like that it was Boogie leaving the stuff around, but he didn't tell him. He wasn't gonna say nothing. But basically, it got found out that it was Boogie. I think he actually left something there, and then somebody saw him, and then he was like, "Oh my bad," and he picked it up, threw it away. So we kind of put 2 and 2 together, right? So, which isn't a big deal, but when you're in prison, you know, in a cell locked up with hella people, you know, you're locked in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, things like that can kind of escalate things, right? So back to the incident. So the door gets shut, right? And then Boogie, he all of a sudden just changed into a different person. Like, he might have been bipolar or something, because a lot of times he was real quiet, real reserved. You know, he's a beast though. Like, Boogie a beast. He's like 6'4", 220, hella cut up, you feel me? And he had hands too. But yeah, so anyway, so what happened was he turned to another person, right? He like, hey man, and he get up, he push up on Shadow, right? So he pushed up on him, right? And he like, hey bro, he's like, hey man, he's like, this is the last time, he's like, this is the only time I'm gonna tell you, don't fuck with me like that. He said something around those lines, right? But he was in his face and pointing in his face like that, right? And then Shadow was like, well, this is the last time I'm gonna tell you to clean up after yourself, man. We all grown ass men and something, right? And then Boogie was like, what? And he pushed up in his face, and then Shadow just stole on him, right? Hit him with a clean right to the left side of his face. And I just seen his jaw just, right? Because I'm sitting up at the top, so I'm just watching the whole thing happen, right? And R's on the top there too. We all just looking, right? J4 down here, Jesse's over there on the other side of the top, and then Rhino Shadow, right? So he like, oh damn. So he's still on Boogie. Boogie's still on back. Beep, beep. And then Rhino hop up, because you know that's his partner. Rhino hop up. So Rhino hop up. He tried to throw, I don't think he landed no punches, but he tried to throw at him, and then Boogie turned around and beep! He hit him right in the chin. And even Rhino said his teeth went hella hard. He was like, man, that's, bro, hit hard, right? So boom. So he feed Rhino. And then Rhino, he fall down the bed. And then so he just pretty much piecing up Shadow a little bit, right? But not too much, but he get up on him, and then Rhino get up, and they basically tried to tackle him and wrestle him, but it wasn't working because Boogie's hella taller and bigger than him, right? Then J4 get up, because J4, you know, he rock with Shadow and Rhino tough too, and like I said, at this point, there's one other aspect of this that I'm not going to share, but people kind of felt like people were basically tired of Boogie. Basically, that's like the best way I could put it, right? On top of that, he said some stuff that he wasn't supposed to say, so it was kind of weird, a weird situation, right? So then J-Fo get up, and I'm just looking like, damn, I'm like, bruh, this is crazy. J-Fo get up and just into his ribs though, like 5 times into it. I was counting up because I was like, right there, I was like, damn. So he feeding him in the ribs and shit, but he still ain't really going down. But then they tackle him onto the road below me because it was empty. So then Shadow get on top of Boogie, and you know he start firing on him and shit, and then somebody was like, nah, let him get up off the bed, right? So then they get up off the bed, and then JG ran over to J-Fo, hit him on the left, on like the right side of his face, and split his whole shit, and he had like a long scar on his face, right? One punch, leaking. Ran over to Rhino, beep, 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 beep. And then, but not too bad, but then Rhino, like, he backed up, and then he was like, you got it. And then pretty much it was over, but Boogie came back, you feel me? And then he wanted to get at Shadow. But Shadow at this point, he had like backed up and basically sat on his part of himself. He's like, man, he knew he wasn't gonna win. You feel me? Like, and what come to find out too, he had fractured his when he hit him, he had fractured his left the side of his hand, right? So he couldn't really hit with his heavy hand, with his strong hand. And so, you know, and so Boogie he's like, bro, get up. He's like, fight me one-on-one. What do you want? And then Shadow's sitting there like, man. And then Boogie come through and smack the shit out of Shadow. He's like, and he started talking shit, and then Shadow was like, fuck. He's like, man, he couldn't do nothing, but it was what it was. You feel me? And then, but after that, Rhino was like, all right. He's like, all right, Boogie, you got it. You did your shit. You good. He's like, but you can't stay here though. You gotta go now. He's like, cause it's too funky in here now. And so Boogie, you know, he banged on the door. CO came. Long story short, got him up out of there. But Boogie, he didn't tell on nobody or nothing like that. And like J-Fo, basically, like he got long hair, so he basically like for count, he would just take out his hair and put it over his face so they didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Shadow wasn't leaking around, was leaking nothing like that. But yeah, it was a crazy little cell fight though. And the thing is, right, that makes it crazy is, see, if this would have happened on the yard, it could have turned into a riot situation, right? Because of the racial politics involved. You know what I mean? Like a Mexican or a black, they can't take off on each other, or like a black dude can't just take off on a white dude. You can't do that. So to fight another race, you have to actually go talk to the head, whoever is the head for that race at that time. You go holler at them and tell them what the issue is, and then, you know, if it warrants a fade, then they'll let you catch a fade in the mop closet or something like that. But for another race, just to take off another race like that, it you know, basically caused a riot. And I'm thinking like, damn, I could have definitely been alright in that cell. But see, the reason why we let that slide and just let him fight and just, you know, even J-Fo said like, oh yeah, Boogie, he's like, before Boogie had left, he was like, yeah, Boogie, my bad. He's like, I shouldn't have hopped in. That was between y'all. He's like, I should have called out, you know, just the one-on-one, just with me and you. So that's my bad. So J-Fo was apologizing for that shit. But yeah, it definitely could have been a riot. Like if he was on some real politics and shit. But like I said, our camaraderie was pretty good with each other. All of us, you know, we from Cali, so you know, it's kind of weird. Like I'm not gonna just all of a sudden just jump up and fight a random Mexican dude just because he's fighting a black dude, especially when the black dude said some weird shit he shouldn't have said. And but like I said, to no fault of his own, he's kind of slow and gang goofy. But yeah, man, so just a quick story, man. And like I said, this is just to teach y'all about what goes on, you know, behind the walls, man. You know, sometimes you could get put in a situation where, you know, say if you in a pod or you on the yard or something like that, and, you know, somebody doesn't understand the politics and they yap off, and then all of a sudden you see a black dude take off on a white dude. All of a sudden, if you're on a high level yards going up, it's going to be a riot. You feel me? So, luckily in our cell, we wasn't politics. We was just rocking how we was rocking. We was off in Cali. It doesn't matter if he was black or Mexican, you feel me? Shit, I mean, there's other fights too that happened, which I'll touch on later, that, it's like, hey, that's not my business. You know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all got going on, if y'all got to get that off your chest, y'all handle it, and that's it. And I'm just going to sit here and watch. You know what I'm saying? If they ain't got nothing to do with me, you feel me? It is what it is, man. But hey, it's your boy Ink in the Brain, man. Go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Y'all be smooth and be solid.